1. Introduction. My name is Fiona. I was 29 years old. Before I got married, I had a job I loved very much. I was a teacher, working with young students every day. My classroom was a happy place, filled with books and colorful drawings. I enjoyed helping children learn new things. It felt good to see their faces light up when they understood something difficult. Teaching gave me purpose, and I felt happy and useful in my work. My colleagues were friendly, and the school was a supportive environment. Every morning, I looked forward to going to work. My life was simple but fulfilling, centered around my students and my passion for education. Then, one day, I met Rick. He was a handsome man with kind eyes and a warm smile. He seemed very successful and had a good job. From the moment we met, he paid me a lot of attention. He told me I was special, more unique than anyone he had ever known. He promised to take care of me always, saying he wanted to give me a wonderful life where I would never have to worry about anything. He spoke about a future where we would be happy together, and he would provide for everything we needed. Rick made me feel safe and loved. He was charming and attentive, always remembering small details about me. I quickly fell in love with him, believing every word he said. Our relationship moved quickly, and soon we were married. Not long after, we found out I was going to have a baby. We were both very happy about the news. When I was pregnant, Rick suggested I stop working. He said, "Fiona, you don't need to work anymore. I can take care of everything for us. You should rest and focus on our baby." I thought about my job and my students. It was a little sad to leave my teaching position, but I also felt excited to be a mother and to spend all my time with our new baby. Rick seemed so sure and so loving, and I trusted his words completely. He repeated his promise often. "You don't need to work, Fiona. I will give you everything you need." He assured me that our family would always have enough money. He spoke about providing a comfortable home, good food, and a happy life for our child. He told me not to worry about financial matters, as he would handle all of that. Rick had a good job, and he seemed to have a lot of money, so his promises felt real and dependable. I believed he would always keep his word. I felt lucky to have a husband who wanted to support me and our family so completely. I truly believed that I was making the best decision for our future, trusting in Rick's love and his ability to provide for us always. I looked forward to our new life together, full of love and security. 2. A perfect beginning. Life with Rick felt like a wonderful dream. We lived in a big, beautiful house. Our baby boy was healthy and full of smiles. We had enough money for everything we wanted and needed. Rick was very kind and loving. He often brought me small gifts like flowers or a book. We spent many happy evenings together as a family. I cooked delicious meals, and Rick always told me they were the best. I truly believed I was the luckiest woman in the whole world. My days were peaceful and busy. I was a stay-at-home mother and wife. Every morning, I woke up early to prepare breakfast for Rick. After he left for work, I spent my time taking care of our son. We played games, read stories, and learned new things every day. I also cleaned the house and made sure everything was in its place. I enjoyed creating a warm and happy home for my family. I felt proud of my new role and happy to be there for my husband and child. But slowly, Rick started to change. It was a very small change at first, so small that I did not notice it much. He began to come home a little later in the evenings. Sometimes he seemed tired and did not talk as much. He would sit quietly, looking at his phone. I thought maybe his work was becoming harder. I tried to be understanding and supportive. After a few months, the changes became more clear. Rick began to stay out very late at night. Sometimes, he did not come home until the sun was already up. When I called his phone, it often went to voicemail. If he answered, his voice sounded far away or he said he was busy. He told me he was working late or meeting friends. He always said there was nothing to worry about. He told me to go to sleep and not wait for him. I started to feel very lonely in our big house. The evenings were long without him. I missed his company. I missed our talks and our dinners together. I tried to tell myself that he was just working hard to provide for us. I thought he must be stressed or tired from his job. I wanted to believe everything was fine. I told myself that all marriages have their quiet times. I tried to be strong and understand his new behavior. I hoped things would soon go back to how they were before. 3. The first crack. One evening, the quiet peace in Fiona's home changed suddenly. Rick came home. His face was not happy. He did not smile. His voice was loud and full of anger. This was not the Rick she knew. This was not the man who had promised to take care of her forever. He looked at Fiona with cold eyes. Fiona felt a sudden fear. She had never seen him like this before. His words came quickly. They hit her like a cold shock. "Fiona," he said, "you need to find a job. You must start working again. I cannot pay for everything by myself. It is too much money for just one person." Fiona stood still. She was completely shocked. She did not expect these words at all. She remembered his promises from before. He had told her she did not need to work. He had said he would give her everything. He had said she should stay home with their baby. She had trusted his every word. She had believed him completely. Fiona tried to speak. Her voice was very quiet. "But Rick," she said, "you told me I did not need to work. You said you would take care of us. You said I should stay home with our son." Rick did not listen to her words. He did not care about his old promises. He moved his hand as if to push her words away. His face became even angrier. "That was then," he said loudly. "Things are different now. You are just lazy. Every woman works these days. Why do you sit at home all day doing nothing?" His words hurt Fiona very deeply. They felt like sharp knives cutting into her heart. She was not lazy. She worked hard every day. She cooked, she cleaned, and she took care of their son with all her love. She felt sad and very confused. But deep inside, a new thought began to grow. She did want to work. She wanted to feel useful again. She wanted to earn her own money. She missed having a purpose outside the home. It had been many years since she was a teacher. She loved teaching very much. She missed her students and the classroom. The next day, Fiona started to look for a job. She looked for teaching jobs first. She sent out many applications to different schools. She tried her best. She went to some interviews, hoping for a chance, but it was very difficult. The schools looked at her application carefully. They saw that she had not worked for a long time. They saw the big gap in her career as a teacher. Many schools wanted younger teachers. They wanted teachers who had worked very recently. They told her there were many other people who wanted teaching jobs. Fiona felt like no one wanted to hire her. Each time she heard no, she felt more worried and more alone. The first crack in her once perfect life was growing wider and deeper with every passing day. 4. The desperate search. Fiona began her job search immediately. She looked for teaching jobs every day. She sent many applications to different schools. She spent hours online, searching for any open position. She also bought newspapers and circled job advertisements. Fiona wanted to find work quickly. She felt a strong need to prove Rick wrong. She wanted to show him she was not lazy. She thought about her old students and how much she missed teaching. She went to many interviews. Each time, she felt hopeful. But her hope often turned to sadness. When employers saw her resume, they noticed a long gap. Fiona had not worked for several years since her son was born. This long break was a big problem. Many schools told her she was not current with new teaching methods. They said she lacked recent experience. Some interviewers looked at her strangely. Their eyes seemed to say, "Why did you wait so long to work again?" Fiona felt like they judged her for being a stay-at-home mother. She felt embarrassed and sad after these meetings. The rejections were like a heavy weight on her heart. Life at home became even harder. Rick stopped giving Fiona money for her personal needs. Before, he gave her a small amount each week. Now, there was nothing. He said, "If you want something, earn it yourself." This made Fiona's financial problems much worse. She had very little money left. She could not buy new clothes. She could not buy small things for herself. Even buying a cup of coffee was impossible. She felt poor and dependent. She often felt hungry because she ate less to save money. Fiona felt more desperate each day. The rejections from schools made her feel worthless. Rick's words and his refusal to give her money made her feel trapped. She felt like she was in a cage. She could not leave her home because she had no money. She could not find a job. At night, after her son was asleep, Fiona often cried. She cried quietly so her baby would not hear her. She felt alone and hopeless. The house that was once her happy home now felt like a prison. She did not know how she would find a way out of this difficult situation. Her future seemed dark and uncertain. She worried about her son and their life together. She knew she had to keep trying, but the path ahead seemed very long and hard. 5. The ugly truth. Fiona was still looking for work. Every day felt the same. She felt tired and sad. Rick was often out of the house. He came home late, or sometimes he did not come home at all. Fiona felt more alone than ever before. Her personal money was completely gone. She had no way to buy even small things for herself or her son. One afternoon, Fiona was cleaning the living room. Rick's phone was on the coffee table. It lit up with a new message. Fiona did not mean to look, but she saw the name clearly. It was Clara. The message said, "I can't wait to see you tonight." Fiona stopped breathing for a moment. Her hands started to shake badly. She felt a cold feeling inside her body. Her mind raced quickly. Who was Clara? Why did she want to see Rick tonight? A bad idea came into her mind. She wanted to scream very loudly, but no sound came out. She felt very sick. When Rick came home later, Fiona tried to be calm. "Rick," she asked, "who is Clara?" She watched his face very closely. Rick looked surprised for a short second. Then he laughed. He laughed a loud, fake laugh. "Clara? Oh, she's nobody important, just a friend from work. It's nothing, Fiona." He said it was nothing, but Fiona knew in her heart it was something big. His eyes did not meet hers. He quickly changed the subject. He went to take a shower. Fiona felt a tight feeling in her stomach. Her fear grew stronger inside her. That evening, Rick said he had to go out again. He told Fiona it was for work. Fiona did not believe him this time. She watched him leave the house. The front door closed with a quiet sound. The house felt very quiet and empty. Fiona sat on the sofa in the dark. She waited for him to come back home. Hours passed very slowly. The clock on the wall moved from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. It was midnight, but Rick was not home. Fiona went to bed, but she could not sleep at all. She held her baby son close to her chest. He was sleeping peacefully. Fiona felt hot tears in her eyes. The night was very long and dark. Every small sound made her hope, but it was never Rick coming home. The sun began to rise slowly. Light came into the bedroom. Rick was still not home. Fiona felt a deep, sharp pain in her chest. Her heart felt broken into many small pieces. The truth was very ugly. Rick had lied to her. He had hurt her deeply. She felt completely alone and very lost. 6. The turning point. The next day, Fiona felt a new kind of strength. Her heart was still broken, but her mind was clear. She decided she would not let Rick control her life anymore. She would find a way to stand on her own 2 feet. She would become financially independent. This was a new beginning for her. She knew finding a teaching job would be very hard, so she changed her plan. She would look for any job, no matter what it was. She looked in newspapers and online. She asked neighbors if they knew of any work. She was ready to do anything to earn money. Soon, she found a few small jobs. Her first job was cleaning houses. It was hard physical work, but she did it with care. She cleaned 3 houses a week. Each time she finished, she felt a strong sense of pride. The money she earned was truly hers. It was not Rick's money, it was her own. Then, she found work in a small bakery. She helped in the mornings before the sun was fully up. She learned to make fresh bread and sweet pastries. The warm smell of baked goods made her happy. The people in the bakery were kind. They showed her how to do things, and they thanked her. This job gave her a good feeling. She liked being busy and being part of a team. After that, she started caring for an old woman. She visited the woman for a few hours every afternoon. She helped her with small tasks, read to her, and talked with her. The old woman was often lonely, and Fiona enjoyed making her smile. This job was about helping someone and feeling useful. Fiona was working many hours, sometimes 6 days a week. She was tired at the end of each day, but it was a good tired. For the first time in a long time, she felt a deep sense of purpose. She was earning her own money, little by little. Every coin, every bill represented her hard work and new freedom. She could buy things for her son without asking Rick. She could buy food for herself. This was a huge change in her life. She started to feel much stronger inside. Her sadness was less heavy now. She began to smile more often, a real smile. She felt a new confidence growing within her. She was no longer the helpless woman she had been. She was a woman who could work and take care of herself and her child. Rick noticed these changes very quickly. He saw that Fiona was not crying anymore. He saw that she was leaving the house every day, dressed for work. He saw that she was not asking him for money. He did not like this new Fiona. He was used to Fiona depending on him. He started asking her many questions, his voice often cold. "Where are you going every day? What are you doing outside the house? Why are you always so busy?" He did not like her new independence. He wanted her to be the old Fiona who stayed home and waited only for him. But that Fiona was gone. A new, stronger Fiona was slowly taking her place. 7, my freedom. One evening, Fiona walked home. The sun was setting, painting the sky with colors. She felt tired from her jobs, but it was a good tired. She had earned her own money today, and that feeling was like a warm blanket. She opened the door to her house. Rick was waiting inside. He was sitting on the sofa, looking at her with a serious face. This was not the usual way he greeted her. Fiona put her bag down. She looked at Rick, waiting for him to speak. He stood up slowly. His voice was calm, but there was a strange tone in it. "Fiona," he began, "you don't need to work anymore. You can quit your jobs. Just stay home like before." Fiona heard his words, and a small laugh escaped her lips. It was not a happy laugh, but a laugh of disbelief. For months, he had told her to work. He had called her lazy. He had taken away her money. Now, suddenly, he wanted her to stop. She remembered feeling trapped, desperate, and alone. But that Fiona was gone. The new Fiona was strong. "No, Rick," she said, her voice steady. "I am not your little doll anymore. I will not quit my jobs." Her eyes met his. She felt a new strength inside her, a power she had not known she had. "And there is something else," she continued, her voice growing firmer. "I know about Clara." Rick's face changed. It turned very pale, like he had seen a ghost. His eyes opened wide. He took a step back. He tried to speak, but no words came out at first. The silence in the room was heavy. "I saw the message," Fiona said. "I know you have been seeing her." The truth was out. It felt like a heavy weight had lifted from her shoulders. She had kept this pain inside for too long. Rick finally found his voice. "Fiona, I am so sorry," he stammered. "Please let me explain." "It was a mistake. I can change. We can fix this." He tried to reach for her hand, but Fiona moved away. She shook her head. "No, Rick," she said again. "It is too late for explanations. It is too late for sorry." Her heart had changed. It was no longer filled with love for him, but with a quiet resolve. "I want a divorce," she stated clearly. Rick looked shocked. He tried to argue, to persuade her. He talked about their son, about their life together. But Fiona stood firm. Her decision was made. She had found her own way, her own freedom. She would not go back to being the jobless wife, dependent and unhappy. This was the end of one chapter and the start of a new, independent life. She would face the future with courage, ready for whatever came next. Her heart was no longer his to break. 8. A new life. The divorce process was long and hard. Fiona had to talk to lawyers many times to discuss her rights and her son's future. It was a stressful time with many papers to sign and meetings to attend. Sometimes she felt very tired, but she remembered why she was doing it. She was fighting for her own freedom and for a better life for her son. When the final papers were signed, Fiona felt a deep sense of peace. A heavy weight lifted from her shoulders. She was finally free from Rick's control and his empty promises. It was a new beginning for her and her child. Fiona soon found a full-time job. It was at a small school just outside the city center. The school needed a good teacher, and Fiona was very happy to teach again. The pay was not high, but it was enough for their needs. She loved being in the classroom teaching young children. The students were kind, and her new colleagues were friendly and supportive. Every day, she felt happy to go to work. She was using her skills again, and she was helping others learn. This job was more than just money, it was her passion. It made her feel important and useful again. After securing the job, Fiona looked for a new place to live. She found a small apartment with 2 rooms. It was not big, but it was clean and cozy. She worked hard to make it a true home for herself and her son. They bought simple furniture and decorated the walls with colorful drawings. It was their own space, a safe place where they could be happy and calm. There was no more shouting, no more sadness. Only quiet evenings and happy mornings filled their days. They did not have much money, but they had something much more important: peace. Fiona learned that peace was worth more than any wealth. She did not need a big house or expensive things to be content. She only needed a safe home, a job she loved, and her son by her side. Sometimes she saw Rick in town. He looked surprised to see her. He tried to smile or speak, but Fiona would simply walk away. She did not feel anger anymore, only a quiet strength. She had changed a lot. She was no longer the jobless wife who depended on someone else. She was a strong, independent woman. She had built a new life for herself and her son, brick by brick. She stood tall, ready for whatever came next. This was her new life, full of hope and her own choices.